Welcome back to STL TV Live. I'm Sarah Bernard, and still with me in the studio is Jenna Imergoot, who is the president and founder of Breakdown St. Louis, and one of her performers, Meagan Broadfield, a student at Maryville University now, first-year freshman. So we've been talking about Breakdown St. Louis, which is an organization, performing arts multimedia group that goes into high schools around St. Louis. So in demand. You guys have a 2-year, you're booking 2 years out.
Yes.
And you've got, you're going out and talking about something that, some really important messages on subjects that are really hard for these kids to talk about, especially with adults. So you bring the kids in, the teens, to kind of meet them where they're at. So I want to talk about, you've got how many performers?
We have 34 team members.
34?
Yes.
34 teens that have to go through this difficult audition process to get in, who are performers. All right, so how do you hold them accountable to these messages that you're sharing with the audience?
Well, they do have to sign a contract to uphold a certain standard of living, obviously, and I always tell them that the last thing that we could do that would destroy our program is if they're up on stage acting out and telling their peers to act a certain way, and then they're seen at a party drinking or hooking up or whatever that might be. It would destroy the entire credibility of the team. They're usually great about it. We meet every week, and we do intense training, and I mean, you can probably elaborate on that as well, but there's constant accountability. There have been, sadly, a few times over the years where we've had to let some students go, but for the most part, they rise to that occasion.
So, Meagan, from your perspective, what's that contract like? Did it make your life easier as a teenager, a high school student, because you had to be accountable?
Yes, I think it did. It was very helpful to have something in writing that I knew that a specific standard that I was being held to. But sometimes, often actually, we go above and beyond just a contract. Even as teenagers, most of the time, it's not Jenna or other adults that are involved in our program, but just each other. We're holding each other accountable and challenging each other to be leaders in our schools and our communities, and just to make a difference, not just on a stage, but every single day in our schools.
And how many schools are represented in the performing group?
This year we have students from 13 different schools around St. Louis and Illinois.
Okay, and how often are you all performing?
We can only do one school performance a month because I can only take them out of school once a month, but then we do a couple other community events or conventions or churches in addition to that.
So that's part of the limitation of
It is.
getting on your performing
is.
schedule is
Yes.
just you guys have to go to school.
Right.
Unfortunately.
We are hoping to raise enough money to start a second team eventually, but that's where we are right now.
Yeah, so how do you raise money?
We secure private donors as well as businesses, and also we have 2 formal fundraisers a year, a 5K that's actually coming up October 6th, and then an annual gala that we hold in the spring.
Yeah, because the schools don't have to pay, right? For you all
They
to come
don't. It was laid on my heart early on never to charge the schools because I didn't want it to ever be that a student couldn't hear the message because of money. So I raised the money, my advancement team raises the money in order to secure donations to cover that cost.
So do you feel like you've changed lives?
I do. It's humbling to say because I remember when I first started, I said if I could be a part of changing one person's life, that they would maybe not have to go down the path I went through. It would be all worth it. And there really have been, I say thousands of lives that have been changed over the last 7 years.
And
it's
you
very
have
rewarding.
2 kids of your own who have
I
grown,
do.
grown out of the teen years or
I
almost
actually
out.
still have a 16-year-old, and she's on the team. She's been on the team. This is her 3rd year. And then I have a 23-year-old. I started when I was a baby.
Yeah, you did. You started your But how awesome to have a 16-year-old under contract.
Yes,
in your own house. I like that
and
idea.
I don't even have to do it. Her peers do it. So
Yeah, exactly. Right. So in the subjects you guys are talking about in the schools are difficult subjects. What is the feedback you're getting from the students?
They are thrilled, I think, that someone's honest with them. I think one of the biggest things is that people are actually talking about it, because a lot of the time, adults especially are just like, shh, don't talk about it, that's bad. And that doesn't help, it doesn't make a difference. And so we go right out there, we're extremely bold. A lot of times we'll be like, oh my gosh, you're gonna be saying that on stage.
And you guys are talking about it. What are these subjects? Drugs, alcohol, date rape?
Yeah.
sex, self-harm, bullying, suicide, a lot of really heavy subjects. And it's very raw and real. And I think that's another reason I think that the students that really respect it, because they said, you get us. And,
Exactly.
And they've heard a lot of this stuff before, but I often hear, you made it make sense.
Right. Yeah, and they're hearing it from the teens, which is awesome.
Definitely.
Okay, so this Saturday, September
Yes.
15th in Chesterfield, the public can come and actually see one of your performances.
They
Yes.
can. Cold Stone Creamery of Wildwood has sponsored an audition for the community, and so it's free of charge. We're actually going to have 2 event artists that are going to start and be a pre-show and then a full breakdown presentation.
Okay, so it's right here on your screen. Free presentation this Saturday, September 15th at 7 o'clock at the Chesterfield Amphitheater, the outdoor amphitheater on Veterans Place Drive. So breakdownstl.org for all the information. We do need to take a break. I really appreciate both of you for coming in and sharing your stories, and I wish you the best success as
Thank
you
you
continue.
so much for having us.
So glad you could come. And we do need to take a quick break again, but when we come back, we'll talk with Mark and Michael from the Who Band. Remember, STL TV is on Facebook, Twitter, and if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, you'll get updates when we've got fresh new programming available to watch on demand. And you can always watch us streaming live on stltv.net, no matter where you are. So be sure to tune in, stltv.net. Stay tuned always to STL TV.